people plan their trips months in advance. They open Instagram, save photos, build itineraries, and mark must-see spots. Everything looks under control. And yet, by the second day, they're tired, irritated, and have that strange feeling that something isn't right. Not because the destination is bad, not because they didn't do enough research, but because from the very beginning, they planned for photos, not for the experience. The problem is, you can't see that in the footage. The pictures look perfect. The stories look calm. But the reality is rushing, crowds, exhaustion, and a constant feeling that you're behind schedule. So most people think they just picked the wrong place. They come back, plan the next trip the same way, and repeat the same mistake. In this video, I'll show you exactly where planning breaks down and how the people who leave truly satisfied think in a completely different way. Planning by Instagram. The first and biggest mistake is planning trips based on photos. People open Instagram, see a beautiful shot, save it, and automatically turn it into a stop on their itinerary. But the photo shows none of what actually matters. It doesn't show how long it takes to get there, whether you'll stand in line, whether you'll be tired, hungry, or overheated when you arrive. Instagram shows 1 second. You plan an entire day around it. In your head, you imagine a calm moment, but in reality, that place comes after a long transit, during peak hours, and at a time when you're already drained. Instead of an experience, you get rushing, noise, and the feeling that you're constantly falling behind your own schedule. You start checking the clock more often than the place itself, and even the good moments pass quickly because there's still more to see. And something important happens here. You stop being present. Your mind is no longer where you are, but where you're supposed to be in an hour. The trip stops being a break and turns into a logistical operation. The more photos you save in advance, the less freedom you leave yourself on location. When something goes wrong, the transport is delayed, the line is longer, or the weather isn't what you expected, the entire plan collapses. Your mood drops, tension rises, and you leave feeling like the destination wasn't that great. But the truth is, the place may have been incredible. You just put it on the wrong day, at the wrong hour, at a moment when you had neither the energy nor the space to enjoy it. You go home with lots of photos and lots of proof that you were there, but with the feeling that you didn't truly experience it because you planned for the shot, not for the person inside it. And when you plan by photos, you almost inevitably reach the next mistake. You start stacking places. One more, because they all look essential. Your day is no longer an experience, but a checklist to complete. And that's where the trip finally turns into a marathon. Too many must-see. At first, the schedule looks logical, even smart. Everything is arranged by hours. Distances look small on paper, and the day seems completely manageable. But reality doesn't work by plan. Every must-see requires time. Not just to get there, but to orient yourself, wait, and adapt to the place. That time never makes it into the planning. So your day starts filling with pressure from the morning because you know there's no room for delay. Instead of allowing yourself to stay longer where you feel good, you leave earlier. Instead of sitting and simply feeling the place, you're already thinking about the next stop. Not because you want to, but because the schedule is chasing you. The more essential spots you add, the less control you have over your own day. This is when the fatigue stops being physical and becomes mental. You begin to feel that you were busy all day, yet nothing truly stays with you as a real experience. Day after day, the pace accumulates and the enjoyment decreases. The trip stops being a discovery and turns into exhaustion. Then you start making decisions that look logical on paper, but break in reality. The plan may be organized, but you've left no room for error, delay, or fatigue. And that's where the next problem begins. Ignoring rhythm. The third mistake is planning as if your body, time, and place will adjust to the schedule. In reality, the opposite happens. Time zones, climate, and crowds start dictating your day, no matter what your plan says. Energy drops earlier, concentration fades, and things you thought would be easy start requiring effort. The problem isn't that you get tired. The problem is that you planned as if fatigue didn't exist. And when the best places come at a moment when you're already drained, the experience disappears. Not because the place isn't good, but because you're in the wrong state. Rhythm is a combination of time zone, climate, crowds, and energy. In some cities, life starts early in the morning and ends by noon. In others, everything happens in the evening. Somewhere, the heat drains you by 10 a.m. Elsewhere, the cold slows you down more than expected. If you don't account for this, you start fighting the place instead of moving with it. And most importantly, you ignore your own rhythm. After a long flight, your body doesn't function normally. After several intense days, your attention drops. Instead of slowing down, you try to maintain the same pace. And the more you do, the less of the experience remains. The people who leave satisfied haven't seen more. They stopped fighting time, their body, and the place. And that leads them to a completely different way of planning. When you combine these three mistakes, planning by photos, too many must-see spots, and completely ignoring rhythm, it becomes clear why so many people return from their trips tired. Not because they chose the wrong destination, but because they thought about it the wrong way. The people who leave truly satisfied don't do anything special. They just think differently before they even leave. How people who leave satisfied think. The difference between people who come back exhausted and those who leave satisfied isn't the root. It's not the number of places. The difference is how they make decisions before they go. Most people start with the question, what do I have to see? That automatically puts them into collecting, stacking, and rushing mode. People who leave satisfied start with a completely different question. How do I want to feel during this trip? That question changes everything. When you think this way, you're not looking for maximum. You're looking for balance. You're not trying to fill every day. You're trying to make it sustainable. You know that if the first day is overloaded, the second will already be compromised. So you leave space for mistakes, delays, and improvisation. These people don't plan days that look good on paper. They plan days they know they can handle without pressure. They leave time for nothing. For sitting, for walking without a goal, for a moment where nothing important happens. And in those moments, the trip actually starts working. They also accept that you can't see everything. And instead of that frustrating them, it frustrates them. They don't punish themselves for missing something. They don't live with the feeling that they should have done more. They understand that every trip is a choice, not a competition. There's something else important. They plan by energy, not by hours. They know when they're freshest, when they need a slower day, and when it's better to do nothing at all. They don't try to be the same person everywhere and every day. They accept that rhythm changes and plan in a way that helps rather than hurts them. So, in the end, they don't leave with the feeling that they've squeezed the place dry. They leave feeling like they were part of it, even if only briefly. And that's the difference between a trip that looks good and one that is truly worth it. The one rule that changes everything. If we reduce all of this to one rule, it's surprisingly simple. And that's exactly why most people miss it. It sounds too obvious until you start applying it. The problem with most trips isn't that they're poorly organized. The problem is that they're planned with the wrong focus. People plan as if the trip is a display window. How it will look, what will be seen, what can be shown. But the experience doesn't happen in the display window. It happens in your body and mind while you're there. So the rule is this: plan for how you want to feel, not for how you want it to look. When you start from the feeling, the decisions organize themselves. If you want to be calm, you won't put 5 places in one day. If you want energy, you won't overload the first morning. If you want true presence, you'll leave time when nothing is scheduled. The place stays the same, but the way you experience it changes completely. This rule doesn't mean seeing less. It means choosing better. Accepting that every yes to something is a no to something else. And that's normal. The moment you stop planning for the shot, you start planning for yourself. And that's when the trip stops being a project you have to execute and becomes time that is genuinely worth it. Beautiful places are real. The views are real. And that's exactly why how you plan them matters. Because the same place can be either an incredible experience or a complete disappointment, depending on the decisions you make before you even leave. If you want to see beautiful places without falling into the traps that ruin them for most people, subscribe to the channel. Here we show the reality behind the photos and how to use it to your advantage.